Hi everybody, it's Tristan again. In this episode, I'm going to show you a little bit more what I've been doing to the proscenium to make it a little bit more of a theater space, all right? There we go, isn't that beautiful? I used some acrylics on some leaves, so since we're doing the forest for the trees, so I wanted to add a little bit of that to the proscenium. Now most prosceniums don't match what the show is, but here I wanted to do that myself. It actually creates a frame around a photograph or a painting or something like that. That's really what this represents here. Okay, so I used some acrylics, some different colors, which we'll probably use again. Now I did use some spray paint. Do not use this inside, and please have an adult around when you use this. You don't have to use this. You can use regular house paint or any other kind of paint that you have on this. It's just something I had. So, all right, and your brushes. Oh, yeah, and don't leave them in water. Remember, you want to wash them out and dry them out. Thank you, Orville. You see these little curtains? It's just some fabric I have, but it's a special fabric. A long time ago, they were closing the elementary school that I went to. I went and got the grand curtain out of it and a couple other things, a couple lunch tables too that I still have. But this is a very thick, like a velvet. It's really dense and really thick and really fuzzy on one side and smooth on the other. But most of the curtains in theater are use this. So I did, what I did was I created some legs to go down the side. The other part, if you have a dowel rod that'll stretch across there, we're gonna make the grand drape, all right? The big reveal of it. So I took a piece of that fabric and glued it to this dowel rod. So I wanted to create a grand drape. It's red. It probably doesn't fit anything in the show for sure. What we do is we just roll that down. Look at that, isn't that cool? Yay. And so when I start the show, I can take it up like that. And so it leaves a little bit right there, okay? So that creates what they call a border, all right? And these are legs. Now you see this white wall back here. Usually a lot of times they use a solid white curtain back here, and that's called a cyclorama, all right? And what they use that for is to create a depth with lighting on it and creates different, like it looks like a skull way back in the wood. But see this little line right here? In the show, I want to create what's called a ground row, okay? And a ground row will break that line up, so because I don't want to see the square of the theater. And this here is the line that I want to break up. So this whole space is what we're going to work in, all right? We're going to show the space, and that's the stage, the performance space that we're going to work in. So what I also have back here is I had taken a hanger, metal hanger like this, and cut this out of it and bent the ends so I could go over the back. Theater, in our first episode, I talked about this fly space where drops come in and go out, in and out. instead of down and up. They want to go in and then they go out. These pipes that they hang drops on, lights on, and stuff like that is called a batten. We're going to put one back here, and we're going to create a backdrop to kind of go in front of the psychorama to do that. Right now, we're going to go and create this ground roll. This ground row, I want to stretch all the way across. So that way, when you're looking at it, you see that ground row in front of that. So I'm going to take this away. First, I'm going to let the curtain down. All right, doesn't really sound like that. But all right. I'm going to take a piece of cardboard and get your marker. And so this is the forest for the tree, so I want to kind of forest D, right? Yes. So I'm going to what the difference is in this is in your shadow box, this needs to be painted because they're going to see it. It's no longer like a silhouette, it's the actual thing. So I want to start this off with some scissors. This is not working out for me. I don't really like how it's cutting out because cardboard, this cardboard box stuff, it's hard to get a detail. All right. So Orville, thank you. I went the same dimensions as this. Let's mark that so I know where to begin and stop. Right. Sorry. So that happens. So let's maybe make it a little less detail. So I want some like rocks and foliage things and that sort of thing. So, and then the backdrop's going to have trees and stuff on it. So I feel much better about this, but save that cardboard because we're going to need that. So we need to make it stand up. So that's why I wanted to save that piece of cardboard. That's about the same length. Because you want to make it removable, the little, what they call jacks. So I probably do need to put little feet on there so it doesn't do that. So I want to make some feet. Normally these jacks are used what they call as a stage pin, which will go into the floor of the stage. feet on it. So what I'll do is I'll put that in the theater, right? It's the beginnings of the scenery. That's the ground rule. We're gonna make a backdrop, and I kind of want to make it a bunch of little trees and stuff broken up, so you can see through that to give it some depth back. But I'm going to take this batten off first. Let's measure it and see how tall it is. So it's about 1 foot. It's just a little bit bigger than the ruler. So, all right. Yes. And I want to keep that same length that I made the ground row at. So just another trivia thing about theater. Go back to these. These are called legs, and usually a theater has curtains that are called legs for sightlines. And if you ever heard the term break a leg, that's from them entering stage. They break a leg. So that's what they go through the curtain, which is called a leg. So they break a leg to enter that performance space into that. What I'm going to do now is take this batten off, and see, I bent the edges down on the ends to resemble the edges of how long the stage is, or how wide the stage is, sorry. So take that out, remove this. I want to use another thin stuff, and you can use paper. This is cool to use fabric on it if you want to do that too. This not wide enough. All right, so I'm going to mark this. Yeah, paper, fabric. Actually, you can use, if you have some fabric or muslin, you can paint on it really nice design and that sort of thing also, which is generally used. Now I'm kind of, those are called soft goods. They are generally soft goods. Any kind of fabric is called soft goods in that. So what I'm doing is actually making a hard backdrop. So I kind of want to draw a little bit of a canopy of this. So you only have so much space in the proscenium. It kind of depends on where you're sitting, if you're looking up into or directional. We can talk about that a little bit more later. This is really flimsy, so I should probably make these all kind of touch to, so it doesn't flop around too much. backdrop in. Orchestra. Alright, now let me bring this fill in. So, just a little sample. Hello everybody! I hope you enjoyed the backdrop and the ground row and this fine curtain here. What do we call that? It's called the grand. So, alright, I'm going to start painting all the scenery back here, the backdrop and the ground row, and I will see you next time. I'm going to take this out and take the ground row out. I'm really enjoying this section. So I'm going to use some greens and browns and all sort of things. Now, don't hesitate to use real branches and leaves if you want to make the whole backdrop. Leaves and stuff from your yard, that would be awesome. These things are starting to fall down. I mean, it got really windy, so these seeds, they look like little wings and things like that, little helicopter things. And there's the back of the ground row, so I added those. So I'm going to paint that, and we'll paint this, and that'll look really neat. All right, see you next time, guys.